The Power of Starseed, Book 1 of the Starseed Series, by Jason Hill. Prologue. The cosmos is all there is, everything that has ever been or will ever be. Even our most bashful efforts to contemplate the cosmos are enough to make us feel some sort of way, appealing not so much to the heart as to the spine. The age of the universe and the magnitude of its age and size are both incomprehensible to the average human, and most human concerns appear inconsequential and even trivial from the cosmos's perspective, where they float like specks of dust in the morning sky and subtle machinery of awe. As for the most massive physical machinery, subtle or otherwise, ever devised by the offices of man, its location is not the Hoover Dam, with its giant granite walls and imposing landscape, nor is it the Eiffel Tower, with its soaring finger pointing to the sky. That title is reserved for the Andromeda Galaxy, 2 million light years away, and made not by man, but by woman. The Earth has been thoroughly explored and no longer holds the promise of new continents or lost lands. And the same technology that allowed us to explore and inhabit the most remote regions of the Earth now enables us to leave our planet, venture into space, and explore other worlds. Had this fear continued, it would have come to a world where hope had nearly fled. Earth, engineered to meet energy demands, a great fear and danger would be eradicated from the universe. However, it was not to be. The Colossus, after all, had enemies. Eons away from its creator, waves of light rolled peacefully over the construction made by Starseed. Chapter 1. When Belinda stepped off the Greyhound bus, even the rats knew better than to be ratting around. The streets were quiet, the sky was gray, the leaves were brown. Overhead, a huge storm was brewing like a pot of Folgers coffee, only this wasn't the best part of waking up. The clouds were blacker than she'd ever seen them, and it occurred to her that maybe climate change was to blame. But just as she thought that ran through her head, a pack of drug dealers in training made a crude remark as they passed. She tried to be a good sport, very funny. Then she flipped them the bird. Belinda was 16. Belinda was bored. Belinda was defiant. Belinda was fully aware her defiance was well above the national average. He stopped, made a U-turn, and started circling her on his Jetson. "You got something to say?" he said. She again gave him the bird. Now his friends had joined him too. He stopped his e-bike right in front of Belinda and tried to mean mug her, all up in her grill. If he was trying to scare Belinda, it didn't work. She didn't scare easily, even for a girl. She didn't know him from Adam's cat, and she didn't care what he had a hair up his ass about. He put on his tough guy act. "You better be careful, bitch." She flipped him the bird again, and this time let her other hand get into the act as well. No sense in Lefty missing out on all the fun. They stared at her unbelievingly, shook their heads, and just took off. They went to sell another Citizen Kane. They think they're Orson Welles. There were a lot of things she was afraid of. Guys like them weren't one of them. She felt she had a right to be mad. She was tired, hungry, and flat-footed Stan Smith Converse sneakers weren't the greatest running away shoes. Still, Chicago was the perfect place to start over. I'll never run into my family here, she thought. Perfect place to start a new life. Her eyes stung. She looked in her change purse. 2 cents. 2 measly cents. A voice in her head tried to reassure her that a lot of great people had probably started their later great lives with less. But then another voice said, "Nope, never under $1." So she watched the streams of cabs going down along Michigan Avenue, on the famous steps of the Museum of Natural History and its iconic bronze lions, and thought about home and Mom, only 600 miles south of here in San Antonio. She wanted so badly to jump on a bus and go home. She'd walk through the front door and her mother would hug her and be happy to see her, but she'd be disappointed too. Stupid sister. Stupid stepdad. Stupid life. She was about to unwrap her sandwich when the weirdest thing happened. A flat bam smacked against the sky and echoed back down. Across the street, an explosion ruptured the side of a building, sending fragments of glass and mortar and smoke everywhere. It was raining. Not men, but debris. Pedestrians were running and screaming. Then things got even stranger. With a crash, an upper floor window of the building exploded outwards and a figure was ejected, plummeting to the street. The figure wore a blue body glove that almost looked like it was painted on, so tightly did it hug her frame, and a charred and tattered lavender cape. Of course, Belinda recognized her. She was the most famous woman on the planet, Starseed. Faster than a locomotive, more powerful than a speeding bullet, you get the idea. Earth's most powerful badass, a female. And she normally wasn't on the receiving end of anyone's power. It was usually the other way around. Starseed wasn't supposed to be thrown out of buildings and falling like a stone. She landed with a great impact. The asphalt gave way. So massive was the weight hidden deceptively within her lithe body. The street was not supposed to crack like that for a woman who fell from above as if a gigantic wrecking ball was dropped on it. But it did. Oh, freaking terrific. A superhero battle. Absolutely freaking terrific.